Dear God, thank you for this beautiful February day. Thank you for allowing John to get over here and sit down with the GodDog boys and just chop it up, man. I pray that you bless the conversation, you bless all the equipment, and you bless our mouths. And God, I just pray that you allow this conversation to fall on somebody's ears that needs to hear it, God. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Let's go. Man. Appreciate y'all having me, fellas.
Dude, of course. Thank you for coming. I'm going to scoot a little closer.
Love the setup.
Hey, if you need any more ears or more vocal or whatever, you just let me know. We'll get you hooked up. You were just talking about duck season being over with. How was your duck season?
Man, it was probably the best one yet.
Really?
Really?
Just because, and it was probably not a lot of ducks were killed, but I think it was more about the hunt camps and the relationships made, and it was the first duck season at the new lodge at my farm, and we did the campground songwriter series out there, and that was really fun, and just to see that come to fruition, and see my dog as she's growing and becoming a better duck dog and retriever. It's just, and I'm becoming a better handler. I'm learning so much with her. It was a lot of cool moments. I feel like it was one of the highlights was killing our first greenhead on a duck hole we've been working on for 5 years, and just the night before I said, boys, if we shoot this first, if we kill them, I don't care how many we kill. We can kill one. If we kill one greenhead, I'm jumping in the water. They're like, no, you're not. I was like, I will. I was like, bet me. And sure enough, I mean, I thought the chances were slim, and that front came through as that snow came through, and man, it was just, I mean, it was, I don't know. It was like it was like the perfect storm. Everything, lined up perfectly, and ducks were flying everywhere, and we made it happen. And so I did a cannonball in the water, and it was fun, man. It was just that moment was really cool to just have a dream, look at something, an old pine thicket, and say, I mean, we're pretty close to where all these ducks sit at. I feel like we can turn this into something, and we did. It took a long time, but just seeing the whole process and stuff. So it was like little moments like that just made the season awesome. And so
that's
it was really
sick.
cool.
How did Ozora come about?
So Ozora,
can you just explain what that is? For
Ozora. Yeah, so Ozora is a farm I got in West Tennessee. I purchased it in 2018, and they were like, when you're purchasing a land or whatever, I put it under an LLC, and my business manager was like, what do you want to call it? And I was like, Ozora Farms, because Ozora is the road I grew up on down in Georgia. So originally from Georgia, came up here to Tennessee, and I wanted to kind of give a nod to like where I'm from. I learned so much, growing up off that road. So I said, why not start my own Ozora up here? And didn't think nothing of it. And then, signed my deal that same year. And we're doing a whole bunch of photo shoots and video shoots. And I'm wearing Carhartt. I'm wearing, Drake. And I'm wearing all these like brands. And, I've been independent for so many years. And the label said, hey, we ain't got this permission from these guys to have this in the shoot or this photo. So just wear this blank hat. And I was like, man.
No, bro.
Dude.
No.
It's the worst.
It's the worst.
It's
dude.
the worst.
I hate seeing people take those promo pictures and stuff, and they just got a blank hat on.
It's just like, I know, and I feel his pain. I see it. I'm like, I know the exact reason why. And so I was like, man, well, I'll just make my own logo, but I'm not going to wear my own name on my hat.
Right. Exactly.
So like, so I was like, I'll just put, Ozora Farms, put a duck on there and put it on a hat. And that's kind of how it started. And so I was wearing that hat in photo shoots and stuff, wearing them at shows, and people were like, where can I get that hat? And I was like, let's sell them, or let's put them at the merch booth. Why not? Why not? And so, we started, just selling a few here and there, just having fun with it. And, we contribute a portion of these proceeds to Dream Hunt Foundation down in Louisiana. And it helps, kids with terminal illnesses or, kids who don't have the chance to go hunt, it allows them to go hunt for the first time. And just a way that we give back, because growing up, I didn't have, someone to take me all the time. And, I didn't really get into the outdoors until high school and college and stuff. So I moved to Nashville was when I really started diving in. But, so I have that heart for getting, kids and young people like in the outdoors and that have that passion that, don't have the opportunity, give them that opportunity.
That's sick.
Really cool.
When you were in high school, what year did you graduate high school?
09.
09, okay. I was 13, so you're a couple years before me. But what part of Georgia?
Loganville, Georgia, Grayson, Georgia.
Okay.
Yep.
Did you start hunting during like the Duck Commander boom?
Yeah,
I did.
That was like my couple first years of college when I was in North Carolina at Gardner Webb, and I think I got there's one Halloween I was dressed up as a Duck Commander, and
nice.
I couldn't call ducks, couldn't kill ducks at all. I was just getting into it,
Yeah.
My roommate, took me duck hunting for the first time. We had a blast, and I kind of fell in, just caught the bug then, and just kind of went running from there. But in high school, I just went deer hunting with some buddies that had some farms outside of Atlanta and had some land. And we had, 5 acres behind my house. I'd shoot a doe or whatever with a 20 gauge slug and it was just, we were just having fun. And, but no, my granddad had, now hunting around Atlanta's huge now. And and back in the day, I had no idea. My granddad would always say, just go behind the house. He had about 15, 20 acres behind his place, and it was a big old oak grove. They had a horse stable back there, a couple horses, but I just never saw any deer. Well, there's deer back there, but back in high school, I didn't. I wasn't as mad at him as I am now. I didn't know. I didn't have the knowledge I do now, so I was like, there ain't no deer back there. But funny story about that. I always thought that. And he ended up passing away in 2020. And I was going through some stuff in my life, and I was really thinking about that, and I was chasing a deer in Tennessee, couldn't get eyes on him, couldn't figure it out, and I was just missing my granddad. I miss him all the time. He was my hero. Like that was my guy. He's who I want to be when I grow up. Just everything he was and the man he was and what he stood for. I could go to him for anything. And, so I was driving through Atlanta, and, I always think about him when I'm driving through, and he always told me, why don't you go hunt behind the house? And, I've been struggling trying to connect with this deer up in Tennessee. So I was passing through Gwinnett County and stopped by the house and went back in the woods, looked at some signs, saw some rubs, and put a camera up. And a couple of days later, I get a big old 155-inch slick 10 just running through there, just being the man. I couldn't believe it. My jaw dropped, and I'm like, holy crap, what did I just fall into? And there was a cold front coming in the next week, and so I was like, man, this would be crazy if this really happened. And sure enough, it was going to be dropping. I think it was like crazy, like 18 degrees from the previous day. So I was like, yeah, he's gonna be moving around that pine thicket. He's gonna be moving around because it's a pretty sweet oak grove that rolls down into a creek bed, and there's an old barn where my granddad would keep the horses at, but everything's grown up through them and everything. And I almost thought about using the barn as like a blind.
Oh yeah, that'd be sick.
But I had where I needed to set up was not in that direction. So I set up a little sorry. So I get in there, put up my run and go, throw up a stand, my Millennium stand. Those like little tiny.
Yeah.
Man, they're awesome.
Yeah.
They're awesome. And throw one up. Get in there, and I'm sitting, and he's smart. He's coming downwind of a blind about 80 yards away that I see, neighbor's blind or whatever, and but he has no idea I'm there. But he's smart. He's sensing something's up, and he doesn't come out. So the next day, wind's great, but I see this bedding area where he's coming from, and I'm just like, man, he knows something's up. I just need to get tighter to that bedding area where he's wanting to feed around, and because there's a bunch of big old white oak trees just dropping acorns everywhere. It's like end of October. It's perfect time for that. Trees are starting to change. It looks awesome in there. Just everything
it's perfect.
Everything you want. And, and it's crazy. Outside of Lane, I'm thinking I'm like in the middle of Illinois. Like, it was pretty cool. But yeah, so the next morning, I drive up in there and he's already right in front of my stand. I'm not going to blow him out. I just get out of there, go back to the house, and I just wait till about 10, 11, and then I go in there, be as quiet as I can, because I know he's bedded 150, 200 yards away in that thicket behind the old horse barn. And so I just take down that stand, move it. I think I moved it 60 yards closer to the bedding area right where my wind is perfect. It's going to be like a northeast wind coming straight back towards the road, back towards the driveway. It's going to be perfect. I'm like, I can see the house. I can see the driveway from where I'm sitting. It's going to be mine. So I get it hung up. I just sit there. And sure enough, a couple hours later, here he comes just walking out, just doing his thing. Shot him just right in the pump house at freaking 32 yards. It was crazy. It was crazy. I wish, I try to film a bunch of my stuff nowadays, but a couple years ago, I didn't have all the equipment and everything.
It's hard, man.
It's hard, too.
It's so hard to self-film.
And because, that year I was kind of tinkering with it, using my iPhone and stuff. But I feel like with that hunt, I was just, I was like, didn't really think about it. I was just like, man, I just want this to happen.
Yeah.
Also, I feel like the whole reason that you went was because God or your grandpa told you not to think about it too much.
Don't think about it. Just have fun.
Yeah.
That's what he would always say, I was going through a lot of hard stuff in my life during that time, and I felt like my granddad has always been there for me. And that was, he passed away in 2020, but that was his way of letting me know that he was still there for me. He was, right there with me when I shot that deer. He was right there with me when I'm going through all that stuff in my life, and it was just his way, God's way of letting my granddad tell me that he still got me. He's still there.
Man.
He's still, here to encourage me and tell me I'm on the right path, the right way, and even when I don't think so, so it was really cool to see that happen, because I never thought it would. I never thought it would.
I think it's so sick.
I feel like God gives us grandpas too, because like if you think about it, they're kind of like the finished product of a man. And you only
Such a good way to say it.
You only get to see it when you're like on the assembly line as a kid. Like you're still being.
You're the complete opposite. You are the complete opposite.
Yeah, you're still being put together, because my grandpa dude was the same way. Like he might as well have been Jesus Christ to me when I was like 10, And I'm not saying that that's like what I thought, but he was just like the man. Like that's still, when I think about him, when I look at him in my mind, I'm like, he's got this aura.
Yeah.
I'm just like, man, that's who I want to be. Exactly. But we don't get like now that I'm older, my dad or my uncles, they'll be like, well, you don't know about this when he was 42 and this is what was going on. This is the stupid decision he made or whatever, which we all have to go through that stuff in order to be that man. But I think God just gives us grandpas, because that's like the Jesus of our lifetime. It's like we don't get to meet Jesus, but we do get to like have somebody in our family that we can at least pursue their likeness of, like an earthly figure.
All right.
I'm not saying that I don't believe that Jesus walked the earth or anything.
That sounds like a
Don't
great
forget
song.
Tyler Chambers thinks his grandfather was Jesus.
Well, I mean,
I'm just
better
kidding.
to think he was Jesus than the devil.
That's very good, dude.
But
It does sound like a song.
yeah, it's just it's crazy hearing you say that, because I feel like I feel so attached to my grandpas still, and they're both gone. But
And we can still be attached with them through the outdoors and through the things that they loved and that, that we find passions with. And it's just cool, man.
I feel the same way. Like, My mom's dad's still alive. He's 90 years old, bro.
Shoo.
90.
Stud.
Wow.
And I went and saw him this weekend when I was down there, but I went home and fished the Cahaba River on Friday, which is my favorite river in the whole entire world. And like, man, it was just one of those days where it was on.
Yeah.
I was having a field day, bro. I mean, I was
you tore
wearing
'em up,
out
bro.
spotted bass in the rain. Like,
That's awesome.
was wishing, I was like, dude, this is the day you don't have a camera. It was one of those. I was like, God, if I had a camera out here today. And I went to his house the next day and told him about it. And it was like, he didn't care about me catching them. He was like, man, I used to wear the things out too. And that's how it always is with him. Like, he wore out the Cahaba River his whole life. And I joke with my mom and always tell her, because she's always like, you be careful in that river. There's E. coli in that river. And I'm like, I'm immune to it because he's been fishing his whole life. It just, like, it's in that river runs through my blood because of him. And so I feel the same way when I'm out there. I'm like, I just feel like I'm reliving a life that he already lived out here every time I do this. Because I tell him where I went and I can't explain, like, oh, I drove down this road and did that to get to this turn. He's like, I know where it is, man. I've fished every part of that river. There's nowhere
it's in my DNA.
Yeah, there's nowhere in that river you can go that I haven't already fished. And I'm like, that's just so sick, dude.
Yeah. It's awesome. It is, man. I feel like hunting just in general too is such a it's like what is it called? Like a time of passage, like
rite of passage.
Rite of passage. Like you get those experiences with the men in your family. It's just, I feel bad for the people that don't get that.
That sucks.
Because without that, I would probably be in a pine box or in jail.
Yeah.
And I almost made it there.
Yeah.
A couple of times, but
Well, that's what I think is so cool about, guys like me who didn't have that growing up.
yeah.
Now I want to bring Maggie, my 4-year-old daughter, to deer camp. And, when I have boys one day, we all, bring my brothers and their boys and, just bring all of our family together to enjoy that and to have that camaraderie and that hunt camp. There's something special about bringing family together and friends and just enjoying creation and how, with all the hustle and bustle of the world and you got all these problems and everything, it seems like it all goes away when you're at hunt camp.
Yes.
It really does, man.
There's nothing else that matters.
Nothing.
Time does slow down there.
It does.
And it's just like, you get that glimpse of this is all I really, truly care about.
Right.
Everything, everybody I love, everything that I love is right here in this building.
What else matters?
Yeah, I don't want to go back to work on Monday.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's the best. It is inspirational for me to hear too that you were kind of started your outdoor thing later on.
Yeah.
I mean, I've fished my whole life pretty much, but like the hunting part, I was so behind all of my buddies back home.
Same.
And that's always bothered me. Like, because I've always felt, I don't know, inconfident in myself as a hunter. Because then you start hanging out with people that have
done it their whole lives.
And it's like,
man, I'm 10 years behind.
Yeah, and none of my friends make me feel that way. They don't make me feel stupid about it. But in my head, I'm like,
you feel like you should know more.
Dude, yes. And I get so in my head that it'll be the reason that I'll miss the deer or I'll have a bad hunt. I was that way in baseball. I knew I wasn't good at baseball. So I would get in my head and tell myself, I'm going to strike out. Yeah. So then what I do, I'd go up there and I'd strike out. I'm the same way with bow hunting where I'm like, I'm already talking myself down, walking to the tree about missing the deer. I'm going to freaking miss. And I'm already thinking about what my friends are going to say when I miss the deer. Before
deer hasn't even walked out yet. I'm going missing.
It's July.
Oh, yeah, it's 100 degrees outside.
I told Jason.
I hadn't even planted a food plot yet. I'm already thinking about
literally,
missing.
bro.
That's so.
I told Jason Cruz. Jason took me on my first turkey hunt last year.
Yeah.
He asked me 2 weeks before I went, and I was like, dude, for 2 weeks straight, I was praying like hard, like, God, please, like, I do not want to have to go on this turkey hunt with him and miss this turkey. I was so worried about it, bro, that like when I shot it and killed it, oh, bro, it was like a weight got off my shoulders. I didn't have to. It wasn't. I don't know. I might have been more excited that I didn't miss the turkey than I was that I actually killed the turkey. You know what I mean? Yeah. That I didn't have to live through what was going to happen if I missed it. Then I went on the second hunt with him and missed it. But it was fine. I was like, killed the first one.
Hey,
you know?
kill that first one.
I've got to get over
right.
that in my head, though, dude. Like,
Dude,
because it
you
makes
just
me
gotta
hate
get-
hunting. It makes me hate going out there and doing it, bro.
You just got to be a little more aggressive with
For
it,
sure.
man. It's like
For sure.
you got to kill them,
Yeah.
not like hit them. I'm gonna go out there and take that bird's head off.
Yeah.
I'm a big.
That's that mentality.
Yeah. I'm a big banger, son. During turkey season,
Big stick.
I said, knock on wood. This is probably the first year I do it, but I've never missed a turkey. So
You sure can't do it now.
I will probably.
I'm going
miss
to pull
a
that
turkey.
Ray Fulcher clip from last week and show it to you.
Yeah. You just gotta have that. You just gotta get that dog eating. I have, however, wounded deer.
Yeah. I think
Wounded that one in
lot of people
Oklahoma
have.
last year because of a camera.
Cameras will do it every time, man.
That's why you need somebody in the tree, bro. I wish I could have somebody with me every time I was hunting.
Like when we were hunting that time together and you were filming,
Mm-hmm.
I was like, man, I'm so at ease right now. I can just hunt.
Yeah, it's easy.
Yeah.
But then on the other side of that, it's like, all right, we got double the scent up in the tree.
Yep.
We got double movement up in the tree. It's just, I mean, grand scheme of things, it's not that big of a deal. I mean, if you're really looking at if your head good enough, you got to be really sticking out. But I mean, it is true. You got to be double careful. I mean,
You do.
I would definitely, I do not enjoy self-filming and hunting. It's just, I mean, me personally.
It's a process.
It's not
It is.
fun.
No, you got to
It's
get
not
up.
a fun task.
I just want to be in the moment
Yeah.
and in the tree and stuff. That's what, I was doing a bunch of outdoor content, a bunch of outdoor filming and stuff for the past year or two. And, I just got to the point where, this year, me and my wife are sitting down and, I'm just going to hunt for the love of it, for the fun of it, and not be so worried, oh, did I get enough content today? Did I do this? Did I do that? And I'm just going to go do my thing and really just switch because I feel like I do this. I go in these swinging where I put my effort and my heart and where I'm putting stuff at and my attention and all my, my everything into something.
Yeah.
And I need to, I struggle with putting my efforts and my passions into the wrong things at the wrong times, so I can tell like I was putting past 2 years, I'm putting everything I had into the hunting and all this stuff. And I could tell I didn't write the best songs. I didn't write, I didn't write as many songs as I should have. And that's how I make a living.
Yeah.
I'm not, it's so, I mean, yeah, had some deals and stuff with the outdoor stuff, but it wasn't putting food in my daughter's mouth, and feeding my family and like providing. And, it was a awakening thing for me the past, I guess, 6 months. It was been a process of, okay, what matters? Where do I need to put my, effort and my heart and into my work? And a deal didn't come, we just couldn't make a deal this year. And I at first I was like, man, but then I was like, well, my wife, she's amazing. She was like, I think that was a God thing. God saying, hey, you need to put your effort into
Right.
what you love, and what you love to do is write songs and perform and do all this. What started this whole thing? And,
Yeah.
and I was really thinking about it, praying about it, and man, it just like really just hit me, like it hit me in my gut and really had not convicted me, but it really just made me realize and open my eyes to where I need to put my heart and where do I need to put my work ethic and all my time. And so this year, I'm just hunting and I'm going to have fun with it and not have to worry about, oh, did I do enough? Did I get this for this person? That, all these things that just like get in my head, and it's unnecessary for, to have all those emotions all the time when it's something you're supposed to have fun with. So, I'm just happy that, get back in the studio, writing more and putting, cause I have fun with that. And, it's what I love to do, and I love to hunt and everything. But when you start making, that work, it kind of loses its wonder,
It does, man. That's a good way to put it. I feel like I'm the same way, dude. I feel like I can try and like, even with GodDog, man. Well, Jasper does way more heavy lifting than I do with this, by the way. Studio's in my house, but Jasper runs the ship. But I do that all the time, man. Like hunting content. You know, I'm engaged. My work, my publishing deal, writing songs, playing shows, hunting content. You know, all of it is just like, thanks, bro. All of it is just, I'm a very ADHD person, and to people that don't know this, it's not, ADHD is not something that like is a suppressor. Like, it doesn't suppress you from doing anything. It actually turns the afterburners on for anything that you do, but you can only do one thing. And it's like, it's an emotional dysregulation. So you can't like pay attention to things that you should. You can only do the things that you really want to do. So like if it's Tuesday and I really want to make a freaking turkey video for some reason, I'm not writing a song. I'm probably not going to text Morgan back in a timely manner. Anything Jasper asked me about GodDog is not getting done. And I'm probably not going to email my publisher back, but I'm going to make that turkey video. And I'll be like that for like 2 months and then turn around, the same thing. I'm like, man, I should probably do my job.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like what you just said is exactly how I feel and what has, I mean, I feel like I've fallen into that so many times.
It's just, it's a creative brain too, man. I mean, like, we can't help that. And I think the longer I'm alive, the more I realize how many other people are like that up here, especially.
It's us. It never fails.
Makes me feel better about myself.
Yeah.
No, it's like you say, creative. Like, we're such creative people, and that's how we suffer too.
Yeah, exactly.
It never fails that whatever, dude, and he can attest to this. I don't know how this always happens. Every time I'm going through something and praying about it hard, the guest comes on the podcast and just like says what I'm going through. But dude, that's where I'm at right now. Like, and I'm talking about praying about it right now. Like, Tyler knows, dude, like my studio room is a mad scientist room. There's one double-sided whiteboard, 3 whiteboards on the wall. Like, it's Einstein's crack house, bro. And dude, for the last month, I have been just like, so, all right, I do GodDog with Tyler, obviously the artist writer thing. I'm doing another outdoors thing with Jason called Wild and Kingdom. And then I'm doing social media management for another company called Apex. What's the other thing that I'm doing? Is that it? I think that's it.
I'm not sure.
It's like 5 things that are all currently existing at one time. And so I'm like, it's not, my problem isn't like how to do it all, because I do it all. I don't know how I do it all. But like in my brain, I'm like, I don't know how to think about all of it. And I have a problem with being like, I can't just let something be what it is. My brain's constantly like, this has got to go to the freaking moon, or I can't do it at all. So, and like to the ADHD thing, it'll rack my brain all day until I'm laying in bed. It's 2 a.m. and my brain's finally like, we can stop that. But as soon as that stops, it's like, because of all that, I didn't think about, did I treat Sydney good today? What about my parents? Did I call them? What about my sister? What about Tyler? What about go down a list? And I'm like, dude, I've been praying so hard of like, God, you got to help me like prioritize what's the most important right now. But at the same time, I'm like, all these things that I'm doing, I prayed about and he gave them to me. And I'm like, I don't know how to, I don't know, bro. It's such a struggle, bro.
That is crazy, because you perfectly just defined, I feel like, what so many people are struggle with, like mentally. And just because I'm the same way. And I've never heard it seem like that, because like, I'm like, you know, my wife, she goes to bed and like, you know, she'll be perfectly ready to go to sleep at 9:30. I feel like I'm just
me too.
At like 10:30. I'm just coming alive.
Same, bro.
My brain kicks on at 10:30, and like, you don't shut off till 2 a.m.
Yep.
I don't know if it's just us being conditioned to like, you know, we go to work and we're playing shows at late at night. I don't know what it is, but like, I don't know if it's our creative minds or just who we are. I don't know.
Dude,
I think it's a little of both.
I was still up at 12 o'clock last night looking at my whiteboard for questions that I had written for you a month ago. Wow. Like, I need to remember these. And then I'm turning around and I'm doing something else over here. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
Like, it's just, I don't know, bro. Sometimes it's like a nightmare in my head. I'm like, because back to the hunting part of it and like the filming part you were talking about, I'm the same way where like I have a tendency to turn my hobbies and my passions into a job, because I want it to be like, it's like I can't just enjoy it all the time. I'm like, how do I go fishing and get paid for it?
Well, yeah, it's like you have to justify because you want to be like, oh, I have to make this constructive or I have to make this worth it.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
And so you're like, okay, well, how do I justify it? Oh, you make money. Oh, well, this is work now.
Dude, you know what, though? And then, you saying that just made me realize it probably comes from the first thing we all did was like music, where it's like, I love writing songs. Ooh, I could move to Nashville and be an artist and like write songs and get paid for it. So it immediately turned into, I love this. I want to do this for the rest of my life. So all the other things that we love seems to get on that same route of, I love to hunt and fish. I could probably get paid for that too. I should start a brand. Oh, I want to buy some land. I'll turn that into a business too.
Yeah.
It's like all the things that we end up loving. Maybe it stems from the music thing, dude.
I think so.
It has to.
I think so.
I think it's just the way we're wired, man.
That too.
It's just we're also goal oriented people. It's hard to like with Ozora or GodDog or anything like that. It's hard to just be like, okay, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I'm content. No, it's like,
it's like, nah, man. We want to do this thing right.
Here's how bad it gets, though. I told either Sydney or my mom this weekend. My thing is like, it's all of that plus. I can't just do certain things. Like I can't. It's hard for me to look at music and be like, I'll just write songs because, and never worry about what happens next. Like it's part of that, but like, I don't know if you know about my voice thing when I lost my voice and all this and the other, but it's like, it'd be really hard for me to just be like, well, I'll just write songs and make music because I enjoy that and I'll never put them out and I'll never see what comes from it. I don't know how to do that.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm going to write the song because I want to put it out and I want people to hear it.
Yeah.
You know, I can't just do it just because I love it. I do it because I love it, but it can't be like, okay, if I fell in love with golf tomorrow, I could probably go play golf and just never tell anybody and go play golf. But I can't do that for songwriting. You know what I mean?
I agree,
it's a passion, man.
Because it's getting something off your chest, right? It's you're creating something, right?
Yep.
I feel like with golf, you just, I'm playing golf.
Right.
But now, like, you created something and you're trying to say, you have something to say.
Yes.
And I feel like that's the difference.
Yeah, 100%.
I mean, we all have something to say. That's what keeps us going because, like, I have something to say. I want the world to hear it.
Yep.
And I feel like that's what drives it.
Well, speaking of the world hearing it, dude, your new song is absolutely popping on TikTok.
It's crazy.
Find me.
Find you.
Find you. It's okay.
Sorry, my bad, bro.
It's okay.
I do know that it blew up, and I like it.
Dude, you did 1.2 mil on one of those videos.
Lose me to find me.
I'm sorry, bro.
I'm just kidding, dude. I'm just kidding.
I did this on our last podcast. I told Connor Smith that I Hate Alabama went #1. He's like, no, it never went. I was like, oh, nice, dude.
But he was like, I'm glad you think it did.
Yeah. I mean, in my head, it was like a #1 song.
It might as well have been the way it having the success.
You couldn't have paid me to, like, I would have bet $100 that was a.
I feel like that's like Luke Bryan's Country Girl Shake It For Me.
I didn't know that either.
Or did it? There was one Luke Bryan song that I'm like, there's no way it was like,
you know, that's still
it was like top 5 or something.
I don't know if this.
Jamie, look it up.
Yeah, Jamie, pull it up. I don't know if this is still true, but I remember, dude, you know Pam Russell? Were you at Universal when Pam Russell was there?
Yeah.
You know her?
Yeah.
Dude, she was the first person I ever met in Nashville.
No
ever.
way.
And she's the reason I moved up here. I met her in high school on a field trip. I was in choir.
Oh my gosh.
And my choir teacher was also part of Southern Women's Choir that Pam was in. And so part of our field trip was we'll stop by a record label and we'll give you all a tour. And so she gives us the tour of Universal when they were still in the other building. And she did the whole thing. She did the thing that anybody would do. Like, if you're ever in Nashville, hit me up. Knowing damn well nobody in there was going to hit her up. Little did she know I was in that room.
Your boy was like, I bet.
16, dude. I was 16 years old. I was 16 years old, bro. Got her email, went back to Alabama and was like, I want to come up there and meet with you. And she was the one that was like, you need to go to school at MTSU in Murfreesboro. I'm like, what the hell is a Murfreesboro? I only know Bama and Auburn, dude. That's all that exists for me. Right. But anyways, I don't know why I was saying that. Oh, back then she was talking to me about Luke Bryan and was like, that song this was probably like 2013 to 14, still the most bought and streamed and biggest selling song that he'd ever had. And I wonder if that's still the same thing, because it probably is.
Oh, I think so. I want to say that one, I don't know how it didn't get number one, but there's a song that didn't get number one. It's his biggest song.
It was probably that then.
I'm gonna look it up.
Yeah, look it
let's
up.
just look it up.
Dude, what's crazy too is like just speaking on songs like that for him. Like I remember listening to an interview with him where he was talking about we rode in trucks, died in like the 60s on radio.
That is crazy.
And that was one of the best songs ever.
Yeah.
That's my favorite Luke Bryan song.
My favorite Luke Bryan song is
Cotton, lay down, buddy.
probably Muckley
Yeah.
Creek.
Lay down.
Dude, like
Oh yeah.
I changed the words to that song to My Creek back home, and like that song, I love that one. Dirt Road Diary is one of my favorites.
Dude, I used to get so hammered in a field when I was like 17 at Luke Bryan shows, dude.
Oh, those
Oh, yeah.
farm tour
The farm
shows
tour
outside
shows.
of Athens. Oh man, I woke up with sunrise in the bed of a truck outside of one of them shows before. And
Nice.
I mean,
It was the first concert that I ever went to without my parents. Was Luke, and it was the first. I went to a Luke Bryan show without my parents. First concert on my own. 2 girls sat in the nosebleeds at Oak Mountain Amphitheater in Alabama, and I watched him play Dirt Road Diary, and he worded it something like this: "I ain't trying to say that you should be drinking and driving. Don't be leaving here and drinking and driving. But if you are going to drink and drive, make sure it's on a dirt road." And I wrote a song just for that. And he played Dirt Road Diary, and I listened to him play that. And I watched him, and I was like, that right there is what I want to do for the rest of my life. I want to stand on a stage, tell a story about a song, and make some other 16-year-old watch me and think, I
Yep.
want to do that for the rest of my life.
Yep.
And dude, I hope one day I can meet him, because like he is probably him and Aldean are probably the country artist that made me watch them and go, I want to do that.
It was Aldean for me, for sure.
Yeah.
It was like wide open record and stuff.
the
Dude,
truth.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
dude, so many songs that like shaped my cover, like getting into being an artist and singing covers was Luke Bryan, Aldean, and Brantley Gilbert.
Yep.
Dude, that era of country music. Did you already look it up?
It did not go number one.
Wow.
Which one are you talking about?
Country Girl, Shake It For Me.
What?
I know, bro. I know where I
This is
was
right.
when I heard that on the radio
Man.
for the first time.
I mean, it changed. It changed the world.
It changed the world,
Yeah.
bro.
Dude.
I know where I was the first time I heard it. I was walking through I was young. What did it say? What year that came out? 11.
2011.
I was about to say probably 10 or 11.
Yeah, I was young, dude. I was walking through my cousin's house, heard it on a real radio, like a radio in the house that was on the kitchen counter. And I remember hearing that, whatever the line is about crickets in the creek or the whatever it is, or I remember hearing that and being like, that is awesome, bro. That is so sick. And I was like, ooh, I'm going to have to find that song again. Let me ask you this. How does it feel to like do what you just said? Oh, I remember waking up in a field or whatever, those shows, and then go on tour with Luke.
I mean, that was great. It was surreal, honestly, because how that whole thing happened was pretty. I mean, I just couldn't believe it because we have the same manager, Carrie Edwards, and she's like my second mom, pretty much. And we're at a Christmas party sharing a cigar. He goes, "Man, been seeing what you're doing. It looks awesome. I'll be checking your stuff out, this year." And then a couple months later, he's asking me to go out on farm tour with him. That I literally, a couple of years before that was just passing out in the truck after his one of those shows. And it was, I was like, well, how did I get here? It was so cool. And getting to know him and just seeing how good of a guy he is, and he'll do anything for anybody. He's just giving me a shot in the space of the whole label world and, and everything. I was over there for 6 years, and we ended that deal this past year, and I'm happy where I'm at. I'm thankful for the opportunity that he gave me, and all, and with Universal and everything. It was a good time, man. I learned a lot about myself. It was a huge change in my life personally, and with my career and all the above, man. It was, everyone's got their journey. That was just a huge part of it. And I'm just thankful that I got to, go on one of the biggest tours ever in 2019 with him and Cole Swindell and, playing Gillette Stadium and, going to all these places I never thought I'd ever step foot in. It was really cool.
It's unreal. Dude, there's so many things I want to touch on, but you're talking about your journey, and I want to talk about this a little bit and the evolution of it, because I feel like you're one of the DIY pioneers of doing the independent thing for a long time, but really taking advantage of what social media has to offer. Because I think you were one of the first country artists in a class of people. We talked about this, and we talked about you on the Ray Fulcher episode, I think, on you had the Twitter thing on lockdown for a long time. And we talked about certain artists had certain platforms that they kind of were the ones that owned it. Like, I feel like Jordan Rager really had YouTube on lockdown with doing cover songs on his tailgate, which, by the way, I thought about that last night. And I watched some of those videos on YouTube, and it's so funny because if you listen to that, the audio and the video quality now, you're like, this is trash. But back then it was
this is awesome.
Yeah.
So he had that thing going on, and Luke was on Vine. And you were kind of really crushing Twitter.
Twitter was
the evolution of that to, we just talked about your other song that's crushing on TikTok right now. The landscape has changed, and you've evolved with it. And there are a lot of artists that absolutely hate doing the social media thing. And I'm sure you get annoyed with it too, but can you just talk through what that's done for you and how you view it now?
I mean, I think a lot of how I view it now is how much older I am now than I was when I was 21, 22, 23. I had all the time in the world to sit on Twitter and figure it out and see what people are, how to get what's the best way to get my music out at this time of day, at this time of the week, this day, on this time. I'm going to reach so many people. I had it figured out to a T. I knew what time to post, what day, and how long of a post, what kind of post for each day. I had it all kind of figured out. Now it's all different. You're right. It's a whole different algorithm. It was all, timely based back then, but now it's so different now, and I had all, I was single, no kids, and it was fun. I was, it was new, and I just had a different mentality on it. And now, I slowly, build it through the years, and now it's completely different. And now I feel like I'm this old man sitting at a retirement home just trying to figure out what the hell these kids are talking about now. And I'm like,
he's saying this with millions of views on his newest post.
Well, okay, so man, I've been struggling with the TikTok thing forever, and I'd had some help with some things, and hey, you need to do this, do that, and create engagement. This does this. Okay. Well, so the funny thing on that, that video was not even done. I was just I was fired up, and I'm saying, hey, in 2025, I'm going to put out the most music ever. I didn't think, I was just trying to get out hey, here's a sneak peek of a song that's going to be coming out this year. I didn't even have a date set for it. It wasn't even mastered. It wasn't even finished. I just had a clip of a video we did a couple months prior at the Dusty Armadillo. And so I just posted that little clip, and it went I think you just never know. We talked about earlier, something that you don't think is going to blow up will blow up, or all right, this is definitely going to get some eyeballs on it, and it just does nothing. Yeah. It's just, I don't know.
I don't either.
I don't know.
I've been on TikTok since 2020, and I've had a lot of videos on a couple platforms, or a couple accounts. Zoom.
Yeah.
And it's always the ones that I'm like, whatever, I'm just going to post it. And the ones that I put the effort into, the ones that are in my brain, I'm like, dude, I just created the thing that's going to change my life. Does 300 views. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then I post something that I'm like a burn post just to get it out, of my drafts, is the one that does the thing.
Right. It's crazy. I don't get it at all. I mean, I think a lot of it has to do with just it being random and what catches the attention of the viewer those first 3 or 4 seconds. And I think if the algorithm catches kind of say, okay, this person is watching this more than 3 seconds. We're going to send it to another person.
Yeah, for sure.
And it just kind of builds.
Yeah,
That,
yeah.
I mean, I don't know how it works, but like that's what I'm kind of picking up on, because the Find You video, that signature kind of lick, that acoustic, it's nostalgic. It sounds familiar, but it's fresh. And so I think that's what catches you for a second. And then kind of like a vocal that I start with, and it's a different kind of lyric that I haven't been singing.
Does it go, I got some bad
I got some bad habits.
Yeah, okay.
And it's just like, oh, what is this bad habit? Drink dust in the sun. Could never have. And it just kind of just goes. And so it kind of just rolls and keeps the person engaged with the story. And then it cuts off and they just want more. So they watch it again. And I think, and I look at the analytics, and so many people are re-watching that again. And that's what's feeding the algorithm.
Money.
I just, that's my guess. I don't know if that's true or not, but
No, that makes sense.
And then of course, 2 weeks after I put that, and it's got 1 million views, and they say TikTok's shutting down. I'm like, oh my God, I finally have an organic song that is going crazy, and they're gonna shut me
I
down.
had the same problem, bro.
Oh,
I had a song come out on the.
It was like the week.
It was the week of. It was the week that they were doing that, and I went home over Thanksgiving break, and I shot all this content for it. Came back, shot content with him for it. I had 40 videos made in my drafts, just waiting, because I've always done like, the whole month before I'm promoting it and hoping somebody will pre-save it. But this time I was like, you know what, dude, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to even start promoting it until the Monday before it drops on Thursday night.
Yeah.
So Monday rolls around, I start posting a little bit. I'm at the Duck Lodge in Mississippi. So Tuesday rolls around, and I'm on TikTok at the Duck Lodge, and every video is like, we're losing the app on the 20th. And I'm like, the song comes out on the 17th. I'm like, dude, for 4 days straight, I posted all 40 videos.
I would have done the same thing.
All 40, bro.
I would have done the same
all the way
thing.
up to, I posted all the way up to the point where it was 8:30 at night on that Friday or Saturday, and I was sitting in my living room with my content guy Trey, and 8:30 comes around. I'm in the middle of posting a video. It gets to 60%. App's gone. Mine's gone before, like an hour before everybody else's. And I'm like, dude, I think we just lost TikTok. And he's like, I still got mine. I'm like, I have nothing, dude. And the worst part was when it happened, one of those 40 videos had finally started like climbing up. And it's like, my phone was still giving me the notifications. Janet, comment on your video. Susan, comment on your video. And I'm like, dude, I can't even like respond to these people and be like, it comes out tonight or whatever. I was so angry. But anyways, it still did good and it's streaming well. But I was stressing there for a minute, bro, when that was happening.
I was so, it was gone for what, less than a day or something?
Yeah, 12 hours.
I mean, I was like, what is happening? What are we doing here?
Yeah.
It was weird.
Zuck had to get that market share, boy.
Something happened, bro.
Something happened.
Something happened in that 12 hours, and they
Some
haven't told
deal
us.
happened. I don't know what deal. I don't know. Whatever.
Something went down.
And
All
they
I
had to
know-
shut it down for a minute. And then
All I know is every 3 swipes on mine now, it's Instagram or Facebook ad. And I'm like, something's going on here. Meta.
Whatever.
but yeah, it comes out in a couple weeks.
Heck yeah.
No, 10 days, I think.
Let's go.
It comes out next Friday on Valentine's Day.
Come on.
I'm excited about it, man.
It'll be good.
We got a lot of cool stuff happening this year. A really cool feature that's going to happen this year. I'm really excited about. It's outside the box. It's something I've kind of done before, but not really. And I'm ready to step back into the space of I'm doing whatever I want and doing what I'm having fun again, making music. And I'm not saying I didn't have fun, but it's just I got a new fire in me that I haven't had in a while.
Yeah, man. I don't know how long you've been here. What, like
May will be 11.
Okay, 11 years. We've been here 8 and some change. But dude, keeping that fire burning, like of passion for music, is the hardest thing sometimes. And it sounds crazy to, like, I'm sure if 16-year-old me was listening to this, he'd be like, "You're so stupid. What do you mean? Like, you love this, blah blah blah." But it's like you get knocked over the head so many times, whether it be like what you're posting on social media, somebody telling you no, you know, you name it. Like, I have to remind myself so much that like, I love this. And I do, and I know I do. But I think for me, like, my forte is songwriting. And so I love writing songs. I love singing the songs that I write, but everything outside of that, when that becomes work, like when I hear y'all talk about this content and stuff, I'm like, okay, I have a song coming out Friday. I know it's going to take me a whole day to get all of the content that I really need for it. It's going to take me a whole nother 12 hours to edit everything, put the words on there, splice the music on there, use the CapCut captions, and then that's going to be like 2 days worth of work that I have to do in order to have the amount of content that I need, that I really should be posting. And then my brain's just like, all right, we'll do something else productive, because that's just such a big task sometimes. And I feel like that bleeds over into my creativity. Mm-hmm. But I've had the same mentality this year, bro. I'm just going to be like, if I like a song, I'm going to put it out. I'm just going to put it out. Like, I can't control any of it. I can't control how hard I work and how good the songs are, but you have to love it, bro. Like, I feel like I can lie to myself all I want, be like, oh yeah, like, I'm really excited about this song, or like, oh yeah, I'm pumped. But deep down inside, I feel like a lot of times I'm just stressed. Yeah. And this year, I'm just like, nope. I'm going to put out, I'm going to put out the song because I want to. You
believe in it. You love it. Put it out.
I wrote it.
Yeah.
I mean, baby.
Yeah. It came from your heart. It came from, you're telling your story. You're telling a story. You're doing what you love to do. And when you get in the headspace of, I know I'm at fault of this, when I get in the headspace, is it the right time? Is this strategically what I'm trying to do as an artist? Like, is this portraying me as what the fans want? Dude, like, I'm tired of doing that. I'm going to be like, hey, I'm just going to put out real songs that are my story. But like, if I want to put a trap beat song out and I love it, I'm going to put it out.
Yeah.
If I'm going to do this slow, eerie, like
rock ballad thing,
synthetic rock ballad, I'm going to put it out.
Yeah.
Like I'm going to do what makes me happy, because that's what I feel like the fans connect with, especially nowadays. They with social media and everything, they can see right through everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it took me a while. It wasn't like I would say I was chasing. I was writing songs that I wanted to, but was it like the most authentic side of me? No, I was holding back, I think, a lot. And now that I'm opening myself up to share more of me, I feel like that's what the fans are gravitating towards, and they can connect with, because it's more relatable than just being closed off.
Yep.
I think that's where God wants you to be too.
Yep.
Just kind of where you're at, And
I agree. I wrote this down last night, like, because I get in my head about all those same things. It's like, when you're opening up and you're being vulnerable as a creative, no matter what you're doing, isn't that the real side of you? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, that says more of like, well, I guess it's the opposite, right? If you're not doing that, are you really being the artist? Or are you just being a fake version of yourself to portray to people of what you want them to think of you? Mm-hmm. It's like, well, I think they think this about me, so I'm going to put out things like that.
Exactly.
Versus like being the truest version of an artist would be like, this is what I think about me. I'm going to give it to you regardless of what I think you think about me.
Right. Yep.
And I hope you like it. And if you don't, then 7 songs later, you'll probably get one you like. Yep.
Exactly.
And you're right. You can't control the outcome of any of it once you put it out.
Yeah.
You can
control, at least you have peace with it.
Yeah.
At least you have peace with it.
You did it. You put it out. God's going to do what he wants to do with it either way. Either the song is going to be what it needs to be or it's not. And if the song reaches one person and changes their life, it should be equally as weighing as it reaching 1 million people and doing good. We don't always look at it that way, but I'm preaching to the choir when I say that. But yeah,
Well, let's talk about that baptism, dude.
Yep.
Was that last year?
Yeah, last spring.
That's sick, dude. I remember seeing that, and I was like, man,
It was,
another homie.
man.
You know,
I mean, I grew up in church. I grew up going to Christian school my whole life. I got saved when I was in first grade. You know, went to my teacher at recess and said, I want Jesus in my heart. And we did the prayer, and that was it. And fourth grade, I got baptized. But I feel like, I mean, that's all. I believe once you're saved, you're always saved, right? I mean, but I went through life, man, and I had trials and tribulations and temptations, and I fell away hard. I'm not gonna lie. I was not walking the walk, and man, I was suffering. I was in a dark place, and I let the enemy get a hold of me in so many different ways, from living that rock star life and just letting that just be detrimental to my, not only my, physical health. Like, I was so out of shape, and I just felt but my mental was just going downhill just because I was just letting it just take me over. With the way this industry is, I was down on myself and just turning into different things. And I had so many, not only my career stuff was going on, but personal life stuff was happening. And I was spiraling, and, I got great people in my life. I got, we weren't engaged at the time. We weren't married at the time, but she was my wife, Abigail. She's a rock in my life, and she really stands me up when I'm down. And
she seems like a light for you, bro.
She's the best.
I haven't met her much, but
yeah.
Obviously I was at y'all's wedding and stuff, but from what I can tell, just from the outside, bro, it looks
she's
like
such a light, man.
Yeah.
She's
awesome.
Everyone just gravitates to her presence because she's such a positive influence everywhere she goes.
Mm-hmm.
And she was that for me, and when I needed it the most. And I got the guy who baptized me, Caleb Stevens. He's one of my best friends he lives down in Florida, but he comes up here and we turkey hunt together, and we try to go on a hunting trip every year together. And
that's the big burly guy, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. He's his dad was a pastor, and he's a light too. He's he's that just that buddy you can call on if he knows everything about the word, and just like send you scripture, and he'll pray with you, and he's just that guy. And I love him to death. And I started getting, I was like, man, it was about 2 years ago, I would say, about a year and a half ago, 2 summers ago, I was just like, man, where do I start with this? And I was like diving back in the word, and I just started running. I don't know why.
I just started running.
I was Forrest Gumping it bad. I just started running. Dude. I don't know why. I was like flirting with it every now and then, like just run here, run there, felt good, fall back into it. But I just started staying consistent, and I could feel myself just having so much more clarity and clear-minded when I was just, a runner's high is real to me. I don't know. Some people say it's whatever, but I mean, I feel it.
It's real.
Yeah. And I just started taking back over my health, and my mental started coming back. I was diving back in the word, and I was, praying just to find peace in my life. And that's when I met Abby, and it just kind of rolled on from there. And seeing her and her faith grow, and we just kind of grew together, and that's what we connected on. And long story short, last March or whatever, I hit up Caleb. I was like, man, I want to get back with God. And I know I've been saved when I was little, but I have fallen away, and I want to get baptized for real. I want to be saved for real.
This side of your faith is a lot different
than just being scared to death when you're 6 years old. And to me, I get it, man. I get that, like, once you're saved, you're always saved, but you hear it all the time like that, right? But
there's something, sorry, not to interrupt you, but there's something, man, like even when I saw your Instagram post, and I know it's an Instagram post, and we're not like, I know I would never say this, because I posted my baptism on Instagram, but like, you don't do it for the pictures. It's not like you're like, oh, I get to post this or anything. No. But there is something too, as a grown man, like knowing good and well who you are, what you've done, where you could be going, who you need and why you need it, and doing the thing that tells everybody around you that knows you and sees you and loves you that, like, hey, this is who I'm putting my money on, and it's Jesus. Mm-hmm. And there's just something about it when you do that as an adult that is just kind of like electrifying, Yeah. And I love, like, remember when I saw you, that post, I was like, man, proud of you. I'm happy for you. And like, we know each other pretty well, but not to the extent of like where we talk all the time.
Right.
But I feel like we've probably had similar experiences with Nashville, ups and downs. And, I've witnessed you have a baby, and I can't imagine what that was like, just like having it happen during the heat of your career and all that stuff. And I'm just like, man, I'm so freaking proud of you and your heart and like just your decision, man, because there's so many other ways that we can go, and you see it all the time. But I think God's just doing something in Nashville, man. I think so, you're a part of it.
I appreciate that. Thank you, brother. That means a lot, man. It's just, I really think there's something going on around with the Nashville community and the songwriters and the artists, and not just the whole town. I feel it. I feel like, there's a different vibe when it comes to cheering each other on and being there for each other and getting closer to God and finding the truth, and it's just awesome to see. I really appreciate you saying that. And, I shared that post because I wanted to show other people, like other grown men that, it's like,
it's an outward profession.
Yeah. Outward profession. Like, here we are. Like, this is like, I'm an awful sinner. Like I need Jesus, and don't feel like you can't. Like, it's never too late. Like, it's just, I could have sat there, and I was, during that whole time, I felt like I was so convicted because I was posting Bible verses during that time just to make me feel good. Just to, like, I'm being so real right now. I would just post it like, I know the Lord. I know Jesus died for me. Mm-hmm. I'm going to post this to encourage other people. But I wasn't encouraging myself. I wasn't taking that for me. Mm-hmm. I was just like, hey, if I do this is good. I'm doing my part. Well, it's all good and stuff, but like, dude, fix this. And I looked in the mirror and I was like, I got to fix me before I can, help others. I gotta start from right here. So it took a while, but gosh, man, I can't tell you how much more peace I have in my life that I came to that realization. I was awoken and shook like by God, just like, what are you doing, man? Let's go. And
you feel like he like grabbed you by the shoulder.
Grabbed me by, he gave me that woman in my life, and she did. It was just, she's so good at just like talking to me and talking through things that I can understand, where I'm like, oh my goodness, this is why. This is where I was at. This is why I think those things. This is why I have those anxieties. This is why I have those fears. And she helped, I truly feel like he gave, brought her into my life so we could, be like, I give her things that she needs, but she gave me those things that I need to be closer to him. Mm-hmm. And wow, dude, it's crazy to like sit here and just talk about it, because I never have. This is the first time I've ever like sat down and put my thoughts and my heart like out there.
Yeah, man.
So it's really cool. But yeah, man, it's like God just came down and said, just woke me up. Said, where are you doing? Where are we at? Get it together.
Well, I'm sure glad that he did. Yeah. I feel like he has to wake me up again every other month.
Every day for me, bro. Every day. Get up. It is inspirational too. I think he was talking about, seeing it. I saw it. Everybody saw it, but Because you don't know the impact you might have had on just other people who look up to you. And like, I'm sure you're the same way. Like, we watched your career from the time we were in high school. You know what I mean? Like, I remember when Forever Girl came out. Like, everybody's been watching you, and there's probably still young artists who haven't even left their hometown yet that watch you and are like, that guy's doing the thing. I want to do the thing because he makes me feel like I can do the thing. And then they get to see you openly show that side of you that's like, yeah, I'm giving my life to Jesus. And I think I'm trying to think about if I was still 16 watching you now, I'd be like, that's so cool because it shows that you can do that and still exist in this world. That for a lot, you have felt it. We felt it. We're like, for a long time, it doesn't seem like those two things came together. It seemed like they were complete opposites here in town. And you had to live one life, not the other. So, yeah, I mean, I think there's probably a lot of people that are inspired by seeing you do that and watching that journey with you, especially if they've been with you from the beginning.
Right.
So that's sick.
Thanks, man. I really appreciate that. It's cool to see God work, man. And not just me, but in all of our lives. Like, y'all starting this podcast is so cool. I think it's like when you came out, I was like, man, this is amazing. Like,
thanks, bro.
not only like the logo is sweet, but like the name is awesome. Like it got me saying, oh, what is this? GodDog. This is awesome. Talk about faith, music, outdoor.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, so many people like you're reaching out to a broad, like you would think it would be like, okay, we're this demographic or whatever. No, man, y'all going to reach a lot of people. I'm proud of y'all, man. This is so cool.
Thanks.
Y'all keep this going, man. I'm happy to be here.
Well, thank you for coming on, man. I mean, we definitely are trying, and I don't say this in a way like we won't have just like, we want everybody to come on here, but we definitely want to shine a light on the industry, you know, behind the scenes. Because, I mean, if this makes you feel any better, also, everybody that's came on here has said, like, deep stuff. It's not like, it feels kind of weird just sitting in the room with a couple dudes probably like pouring their heart out about it. But at the same time, like, if it helps, everybody has done that since they've been on here. So I don't want you to feel like,
no, but I
think about it too much or anything.
No, it's cool though. I think that's what makes it special.
Yeah. That's what we want, man. We want to know what went wrong, and we want, because that's kind of how Jesus works. You know, it's like, this is the way I lived. This was who I am, or who I was, and this is who I am now because of him. And if we want as many people on here saying that as possible.
Yeah, and thanks for saying that. But, you know, it's all God, because we don't, like, you asked us when you sat down, like, is there things you're going to ask or whatever? And like, no, we just go.
Just talking.
And like, but
all right,
and I say it's all God because it always gets here. With every guest, it always gets to a point of like, that thing that needs to be said or heard from a listener, like, that thing gets said. And that's what we pray every time, that if there's something to be said or heard, that it will. And we don't want to sit here and pull teeth and be like, all right, John, now tell us all your problems.
Yeah.
And what was the worst part of your life?
Where did you go wrong?
Right.
Yeah.
But it is cool, dude, because like, it helps us too. We need this just as much as anybody else listening to it. Every time we do this and we walk out of here, I'm like, boy, I feel like I got poured into today. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. That's awesome.
It is, bro.
It's good stuff.
Well, dude, is there anything you want to tell people about Ozora, or, you know, what songs you got?
Yeah.
Things you got coming up this year?
A lot of music coming out this year. Probably the most music I'll ever put out. I'm going to put out more music this year than I have in a very long time. I got a lot of stuff in the arsenal ready to go. I'm in the studio, in the writing room more than ever now, and I'm really excited for it. So y'all be on the lookout. Find You comes out, the acoustic Find You comes out next Friday, the 14th, Valentine's Day. Yeah, really excited about this song. It's super different, but it's me, man. Like this, the acoustic vibe, the everything, it kind of gives a nod to like my older music, those acoustical rock ballady, you know, country feels, but it's just got this rock foundation. It really, I'm really proud of this song. I wrote it with Brad Wagner and Jordan Gray. Jordan Gray,
Come on.
he's those guys are awesome, and Brad, he's been great producing my new stuff, and I'm really excited for it, man. Ozora, like I said, Ozora Farms is my farm in West Tennessee. We got a lot of cool stuff coming this year. We're launching a bunch of merch, and like I said, a portion of the proceeds go to Dream Hunt Foundation. We're gonna hopefully be hosting a family with one of their children who want to come hunt for the first time. We open up Ozora Lodge doors, and they come hunt and stay the weekend. We're gonna do a youth weekend. For youth weekend, we're gonna have hopefully host a family to come up, and we're gonna give them all have free reign and let them. Hopefully, they get he or she gets to harvest their first deer, and we just want to be a part of that. We want to do that. That was the ultimate dream of Ozora, is to offer a place where kids with terminal illnesses or disabilities can come hunt for the first time. And I was brought to the attention of Dream Hunt Foundation, and that's what they specialize in. So we've been, donating proceeds from our merch and stuff to them. And this year we're going to be doing the same, and hopefully offering Ozora Lodge to hopefully a family in Tennessee who wants to do that. So it's awesome.
Come on, bro. Before we get off here, will you explain the campground thing too?
Yeah. So campground experience, we're not an outfitter. I don't see us as an outfitter. Like, yes, you can come hunt if you want to, but it's more of like, hey, it's a like I said earlier about the hunt camp and the vibe and the experience and the camaraderie and the atmosphere of hunt camp. That's what we want to bring, and bring music and the outdoors together. So we do like 4 or 5 weekends out of the year during hunt season, during deer and duck season. You can come to the farm. We're going to offer a couple packages, new packages this year, where you can stay at the lodge or not stay at the lodge. But you can come hang out all day at the lodge, come hunt if you want to, and you can, on Saturday nights, we do a songwriter round where I bring some buddies from Nashville. They come out, we all hunt together. We have fellowship, and BLQ comes out. They're local. They're pretty much my neighboring duck club, right next door to us at Ozora, and they just started a catering company, and they've won so many competitions. They're absolutely top notch. They come cook for us on Saturday nights. We do a songwriter round. You'll hear, this past year we had Josh Phillips, Dylan Marlowe, and man, it was just so cool to hear, Dirt Cheap and Dylan celebrating his boys back home, the number one song in the country that week. That was so cool, man. It's a special experience to have. So if you want to come hang out at Ozora Farms, just check out our website. Be on the lookout for dates for this 25-26 season. And man, we're looking forward to having y'all. It's gonna be awesome.
Heck yeah.
Well, that's Jon Langston, everybody. I really appreciate you coming over here, bro.
GodDog.
Maybe we'll do
we love you.
Love you, bro.
We'll do an Ozora GodDog collab one day.
Man, that'd be awesome.
Get some content together or something.
Let's go. Let's do it.
All right, GodDog.
GodDog.
See ya.